The Baal who changes their lifestyle soon realizes that they can't change their family, friends, or colleagues. So, does that mean they need to change themselves or give up their friendships?
When a person becomes religious, very often there's a temptation to cut from the past and to move forward from that point, and therefore to, in a sense, turn one's back on old friends and old experiences and to, as it were, redefine yourself fresh from here. To a very large extent, there is a need to redefine oneself, but at the same time, you can't redefine yourself by negating your history and your connections and your friends, etc.
I still have the same group of friends that I've always had since I started middle school, which was grade 7. And they're great. Some of the things they also don't understand, but they still love me for who I am. They respect me, which I think is most important. And often my friends go clubbing, and I see them before though, because they only go at 11, so I'll go to one of their houses and we'll all just hang out and have a good time, and I'll like wait with them while they get dressed and get excited to get going. And in a way, I know I am missing out. Sure, they're having a great time and they're partying, and I'm going home and going to sleep. But I don't feel that I'm missing out so much that I need to let that interfere with my life. I don't want to be exposed to that environment of being inside a club. But otherwise, I never think just because my friends aren't religious means that I'm going to just drop them and go find religious friends. I absolutely love my friends for who they are.
There'll always be people who want to stamp their own individuality, so they'll have a desire to pull away from that. And that's part of the normal exploration, especially when a person's a teenager and is looking to define their identity, because the prime task of a teenager is to define who I am.
Although at school sometimes it's hard, like I get teased a lot and nasty comments get thrown a lot, I'm not going to give up. I feel that this is meant to be.
My friends that I've had in school, those who are religious I've still kept in touch with, but those who aren't I've for sure drifted away from. A part of the journey is moving on, or moving on different paths. It's an inevitable part of the process.
I think it's really important as a Baal Shuva, a Baalat Shuva, not to reject one's past, but really to embrace it. And to use it to serve you, because there's so much good that comes from that background. It's so much part of who we are. I mean, I am the person I am, not despite, but because of those experiences.
But, as a Baal Teshuvah, does one need to give up one's career or redefine it?
From a Jewish perspective, we don't see a big conflict between becoming religious and pursuing a career. It's one of the luxuries that we've got in South Africa, that a guy can be at varsity and he can go and learn in the evening or in the morning or whatever it is. So he can pursue both disciplines and wisdom, so to speak, at the same time. And it needn't be a great conflict.
As a filmmaker, oftentimes I'll be asked to do something where the subject matter is benign and it's fun, and then I've got no problem doing it. But it has happened where I've been asked to work on a project that it's the kind of project that I wouldn't feel comfortable doing, because it might be somewhat exploitative to women, or it might be disrespectful to another group, and because of my personal principles, I've passed on those. But there are other cases where you just can't compromise. For example, I was in the United States. I was being interviewed on Fox News for a film that I'd made at the time, and I was leaving the studio, and a producer ran up to me, and she caught me as I was leaving, and she wanted to invite me to appear on another talk show later on that night. Now, this was a big deal for me, because the talk show that she wanted me to appear on was literally one of the biggest cable TV talk shows in the United States, and if not the entire world. The only problem was that it was Shabbos. It was a Friday night, and it was the beginning of the Sabbath. And I said, "What time is the show?" She said, 6 o'clock. And I said to her, "I'd love to be on the show. I can't make it tonight." So she said, "Why not?" I said, "It's the Jewish Sabbath," and I explained to her that we can't drive on the Sabbath, we can't talk on the phone, we just got to be in the spiritual zone called Shabbos. And she looked at me like I was crazy. And she said to me, "Mr. Copping, do you realize that this is..." And she said the name of the show. And I said, as if to say, like, maybe I don't know what show she's talking about. And I said to her, yeah, I understand, but this is Shabbos. And I thought that there would have been a big challenge for me to turn down being interviewed on the biggest show in the world. But it wasn't. And how did the story end? I asked her, can I be on the show next week? And she said to me, no.
I'm still very much involved in music. I teach, I compose, I do music for ads, I do ringtones, I perform occasionally as well. So music is still a huge part of my life. It hasn't taken a backseat. It's just become a supplement to other things in my life, more observant things.
Wendy Hendler is a logotherapist and life coach and has 7 children.
I think it enhances my career in every way because I teach self-esteem, and the underlying view of self-esteem is that our self-esteem is God-given. We have innate self-worth simply because we were created by God and we are a spark of God. And to have the Jewish philosophy backing up what I'm teaching and integrating so completely with what I'm teaching I treasure it. I see it as sort of God speaking through me and helping me to fulfill my mission, which is to bring him into the world. And how I do that is by encouraging and facilitating people to be their absolute best selves.